we've played with a lot of guys in up front over Stout's tenure here, and I think everybody knows how great of a coach Stout is with the starters and the game plans and all that stuff. But one of the things that I think is very underrated, and maybe it's not, maybe people really do appreciate him for this, but he really fully prepares everybody. And I think a lot of that comes down to his college coaching background and having to develop guys and having to teach young guys how to play because he knows they're going to have to be starters in 2-3 years. Sua's been here for a long time, very physically gifted, and he's come a long way. And really, anytime he's been asked to answer the bell for us, he's gone in for the most part, done a really good job.
What kind of role do you play in kind of catching him up to speed, getting him comfortable in between you and Lane?
We all share that. I think whenever there's a new guy in there, you just want to overstate communication. I think that's the biggest thing. You want the guy to be able to feel comfortable and to go out there and play and do the things that he's in the building for. And he's in between Lane and I, so obviously we're going to be communicating a lot and making sure that we're all on the same page.
You once referred to him as a Kelce stock, right?
Yeah, no, I mean it was he's got that 0 to 60 torque too. He's got a little Tesla torque to him too. Yeah, no, Sua's he's come a long way in his career here in Philadelphia, and he does some amazing things, and when he's on, he's a pretty unbelievable player.
It says a lot about a backup to be here 5 years.
Yeah.
I know he's been released here and there and stuff, practice squad, but
yeah, but for the most part, he's been here. Yeah, I mean, he's got all the traits. I think some guys perform on the field, but they're kind of missing a few things. The teams are always kind of trying to move on from him. Sua is pretty much the opposite of that. He's got all the traits. He's very physically gifted. He's very strong. He's explosive, and he's really taken a lot of steps as far as being more consistent. And I think that's the thing that the last 2 or 3 years, it feels like a light bulb has clicked for him.
Just one of the challenges of flying out west, and then playing a game.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously the jet lag is huge. I don't notice it as much, but apparently it's a big deal. I think science would, I guess, back that up. But you're sitting on a plane for a long time, so you try and make sure you stay hydrated. You try and make sure you're taking care of your body a little bit more because it's going to be a little bit more taxing. But outside of that, you're playing football.
You saw that the league was taking a closer look at the push play last week and sent you guys notice about the things that they're emphasizing.
Well, and they're always sending us notices. I mean, obviously the last 2 years we were getting a lot of notice for offensive linemen downfield. So there's always things that they're going to try and give you a heads up and make sure that you're not blindsided with things that you're not prepared for or know are going to be called. So, yeah, the sneak play, they gave us forewarning that they're going to start looking for offensive players sneaking into the neutral zone as well.
Mm-hmm. Are you expecting kind of like a hyper focus on that play now that it's become so mainstream and successful?
I don't know. I think that whenever there's controversy around something, there tends to be more attention on it, and I think that tends to be called more. I think that happens especially early on in seasons when there's a lot of emphasis made on new rules or rules that they want to emphasize. So you just got to try that much harder to make sure you're being legal. And there's no way they can call it.
At the end of the day, it's a quarterback sneak. So do you get kind of annoyed sometimes that it is been made such a big deal? Sirianni's response is no one can stop it.
I mean, it's a sign of it's good that it's being made a big deal. Teams are frustrated with it. It's highly successful. Some would say unfair.
Okay. What's your perception of this team and City?
I really like it so far. I have a lot of friends and guys I played with before. I trained with Slade in the off season. I played with Justin Evans. Last year I played with Cunningham and Houston and Street as well. So a lot of guys I'm familiar with. And the city is fun. It's energetic. I can tell by all the responses on social media, they're hype. It's a great city. It reminds me of college town, college vibes. So it's always fun when you have a great fan base like that behind you.
I know you just got here, but how long do you think it'll take to catch up on the defense and be ready to play?
I don't think it'll take too long. Once you play it so long in the league, there's only certain coverages you're gonna run, So we need just the small, minute details. So I don't think it should take long for me to get ready.
What was it like not being with the team for these first 4 weeks?
It's been a little weird, It's been a little weird, but I've been out on IR before, so it's like I just didn't want to get too comfortable, watching the games on Sunday and just hanging out or whatever. I stayed in shape, stayed working out, but it definitely felt weird kind of watching guys play, but I kind of had the plan, so it kind of fell in place how I thought it would.
So you play both, outside and inside. What's the differences to you, and what makes you so comfortable inside when you play there?
I've been playing that since Super Bowl year, my second year, first year, my rookie year. So I've just always had that ability to play both. I think the difference is more happens inside, more thinking, things happen faster, more space to cover. It might be a little tougher, but from the outside it's also hard because you're one-on-one, and it's just you and another guy with a lot of space. And great quarterbacks and great receivers. So they're tough. They're equally tough in their own way, and different footwork and eye progressions you have to go through. But it's not that big of a deal once you get the hang of it.
Have you had a chance to look at the Rams? What kind of challenge do they present, their receivers?
I'm really just trying to learn the defense right now. I'm taking it. It's my first day, so I'm really just trying to learn the defense first.
I meant when you were kind of like not trying to get too comfortable watching the game.
Yeah, I watched them a little bit. I understand what the Rams want to do. The kind of tight formations, run the ball, play action, over sevens. These offense coordinators kind of keep the same vibe. So I
kind of an up-tempo offense.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great scheme. Because they're plugging guys in and making it happen.
I know you mentioned you work out with Slay, but getting a chance to play with him now, and then also James Bradbury, are you excited for that?
Yeah, that's going to be a dope combination, I feel. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to do that, because there's nothing like playing with other elite guys. And I've been that way when I was playing for the Saints the past couple years and back in my Denver days. And it's great when you have great, elite, smart players to play with, because you feed off each other. You make plays off each other, so it's a great situation to be in.
Rob, you mentioned some ties that you got in the locker room, but with Slay specifically, does it help, having that kind of vibe in the off season when you guys are together training and putting that work?
Yeah, definitely. Just to be comfortable with him and know his personality a little bit. It's always good when you come to a new team, and he's a captain on the team and has a lot of respect. And I've always had respect for him throughout our whole career. And it's just great to be able to play alongside with him and make plays for the team.
You've been around Sua for a few years now. Obviously, he'll be going into right guard. What have you seen from him? What do you like about his game? What's he showing?
I mean, Sua, he's a consistent player. He's always been that guy in situations if somebody goes out for a drive or something happens that he comes in, fills in, and he's able to execute at a high level.
Aaron Donald, obviously, is the guy you got to block up front, everybody. But what about Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald is an extremely good player, kind of a once-in-a-generation talent. So our job is, block him and block the plays that we call.
What makes him that generational talent, do you think? What are some of his traits that...
You can go read anything online if you want. You can go watch him play. I mean, he's a strong guy, smart, explosive, quick. He's got a lot of very good things about him.
Does going against your defensive line, tackles especially, does that help prepare for a guy like Aaron, or is it totally different?
Yeah, we have great players on this team as well, and practicing against great players every day. I think it helps refine your craft, obviously.
What are the challenges of preparing for and then going out west and performing at a high level after flying across the country?
You kind of deal with it. Sometimes you fly 2 hours, sometimes you fly 5.5. Time zones change. It's part of this job. Everybody kind of handles it in their own way. So stay hydrated, find a comfy spot on the plane, and do what we do every week.
As a backup, that's really the opportunity you live for, So Cam obviously getting hurt. I got to be able to step in there, do my thing.
Is it easier to prepare to be the starter as it is coming in off the bench like you had to on Sunday?
As far as preparation, it's kind of the same, just because you want to prepare as if you're the starter, even if you're a backup, just because you'll be ready to go in like I've had to the last couple of weeks.
How challenging is your job? You don't know week to week if you're going to have a role. You might go a year without playing. You might be starting in a playoff game, which you've done. How long did it take, I guess, to get used to that and master it?
Well, before I was the guy being thrown in, you just got to learn from the guys ahead of you. Like, obviously, you're seeing them get thrown in crazy scenarios, not knowing when they're going to be the next one up. So I just kind of took after that and was ready for whatever.
How challenging is it to go from side to side? Most of the camp you were at left guard, now you got to go in at right guard. How challenging is that?
It's challenging, but you get enough reps at both, it makes it a lot easier. Like, I've had a lot more reps at right guard this year than I have in the past, so I feel a lot more comfortable with it. So as far as right now, I feel like left to right, it's kind of the same for me.
You've been around Lane and Jason for 5 years now.
Yep.
How much does that help, having that comfort level with those guys?
You're familiar with how they play.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah. So you just know, like, where they'll be there in kind of spots where you might lack. They'll pick up on, and you know how to support one another. And
Speaking of challenges, Aaron Donald on the interior line, Hall of Fame guy. Just talk about the challenge, I guess, of facing him.
Yeah, obviously he's a really good player. So we're just going to trust in the game plan and watch some extra film, but we're going to hone in on that and be ready for him.
How has your confidence risen after getting more reps kind of under your belt in game action?
Yeah, when you're getting in and you're playing well, your confidence just shoots up. So, I mean, I'm really confident in my own ability to play. So it's cool that I get to go out there against Aaron Donald now and prove that.
How has Lane kind of helped you along as well? He's had to adjust to Cam being in at right guard and now you.
Just the communication aspect, like while we're out there on the field, like helping me out with calls and points and stuff, and just making sure we're always on the same page with things as far as that.
How much do you relish these opportunities? Because you don't know when they're going to come.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, there's been times where you've gone a long time without playing. Obviously, you don't want to see a teammate get hurt ever, but when you do get these opportunities, this is what you do this for.
Yeah, you can't collect dust. You got to always be ready. That is the hard part about being a backup, is you always have to go in with the mindset that you're going to start, but it's easy to kind of like chill out, I guess. That's the thing you got to really hone in on, is being ready.
Kelce once referred to you as his Tesla stock. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
How do you react to that comment?
It's really cool to hear. I mean, because the Tesla stock, I think when he mentioned it, was shooting up. I don't know what it is now.
Week, last week it was Allen and Payne, really good players. This week it's Donald. How much are you aware of that, or do you just focus on your job?
I'm aware of it. Like, I know if the interior D linemen are going to be really good players or not going into the week, and I got to prepare, as if I'm going up against an elite player, because I am. So it is knowing how they play, and a lot of it is just knowing your own strengths. So it's both, I would say.
How gratifying is it that guys like Kelce, established as a Kelce Lane, have confidence in you to step right in and make everything seamless?
Yeah, it's great. It makes it feel like when you go in, you're all playing kind of at the same level. Like, I'm next to Kelce and Lane. Like, that's going to hype me up, obviously, because they're always guys that go in and get the job done. So it's like you feel that extra energy playing next to those guys.
How much? It seems like Stout loves working with guys who are undrafted and late round picks. I mean, you look around the locker room and Fred, and Brett, Julian. I mean, guys who are undrafted and have kind of worked their way up. What's he meant to you, and what do you remember about just kind of starting out with him in 19?
The first thing Stout told me when I ran into him in the hallway before I did any meetings or anything my rookie year is he told me, just listen to the coaching and you'll be just fine. I still remember, like, I was just passing him by the stairs or something, but he told me that, and really that's all it's come down to is, like, he sees people that are able to develop, like, based off of, like, certain characteristics and whatnot, and he buys in on those people, and I feel like I'm one of those guys that he kind of bought in, like undrafted, obviously. So it's just listening to the coaching. It really helped me get to where I am.
Nick said you played outstanding when you came into the game. Did you feel like you played a good game against the Commanders?
I feel like I did well.
In what areas would you say?
Pass protection, run game. I'm always going to be a little harder on myself. Like, there's definitely some things I could clean up, but I think overall I did well.